my initial thoughts of the fire, I mean, Lake County's been beat up this year a lot, and there is always fire history in Lake County. So I'm always looking at the potential of what it might do. It's not what it's doing right now. So it had great potential, and So is that kind of what you're looking at?
Well, at what point did you realize that?
I realized that when it was crossing Bottle Rock, that we're not going to hold it at Bottle Rock, and it was going to require a Type 1 incident management team, and the potential for huge life loss existed. It really did, and that was what makes a fire feel different when you're fighting it. Watching that kind of fire behavior in somewhere that's remote is bad enough, but watching it when it's going through a community is what we train for, and it is what we train for. And so it was a constant challenge to be ahead of this fire, obviously because it was expanding so quickly. So I talked with Air Attack. They said we pretty much have one shot at holding it on this side of Bottle Rock to keep it from crossing. So I said we'll do everything we can. We'll get after it, and so that we both were on the same page. And we've worked a lot together. All of the resources in Lake County and beyond have worked a lot together this summer in Lake County, as we all know, because of the fire danger of the past fires we've had, the Rocky Fire, the Jerusalem, all of this stuff. So we've got a system down pretty well, been tested a lot this summer. So with that being said, we went about our business like we always do. Kept working at structure defense, made my goals in structure defense and perimeter control, so that we're defending the structure when we get to it, but where we can, we're going to put the fire's edge out, so that we're protecting property, life, number one priority being life always. And the column was getting aggressive, it was building, the smoke was starting to twist more, showing that it was building up more energy. Right about when I was noticing that was when I got informed that the Helitack crew that I supervised, that I had breakfast with that morning, that part of them had a burnover. The fire had crossed, and they weren't able to get out of the fire the way of the fire's path. Immediately, on an emotional level, it takes you back to that emotional person that we are. They're your friends. I've known some of them for 20 years. I had breakfast with them. That part hits you, and you're looking at the face of another friend of yours that you've known for another 20 years, and he's telling you that face to face. The look on his face was horrific, as I'm sure mine was. We realized that it took a second to have to get through that. Oh my God, this isn't really happening, is it? Because we had to re-engage to figure out how to get them out. In the meantime, the fire was spotting across Bottle Rock. As I was looking at the crew that had been burned, I wanted nothing more than to be there and help them, but I knew that at that point I was already operations, and that the fire was potentially going to kill more people, or at that point I didn't know how bad they were hurt. I didn't know if they were going to die, live or not, and I didn't know if it was going to hurt or kill more people. The helicopter was sitting there, and I'll always remember looking across Bottle Rock Road at Sawmill Flat and watching the fire start to make about a 45-degree run up the hill towards all those homes on Cobb. From there, I gave the leader's intent to check and go, which basically means check to make sure nobody's home and get out of there, because there wasn't any way anyone could survive. A fire engine isn't any different than another vehicle. We just have water. So it came down, at that point, it completely came down to life safety, as it always does. But a lot of times when we have a fire in the middle of nowhere, we can kind of check that box off and we just go straight to putting the fire out. Well, at this point it was different. We had many people that were threatened. So fire crews, everybody went into evacuating people, a lot of heroic efforts on many people, sheltering people in place where it was safe, making people evacuate. I was engaged in flushing people out of Summit Road and Humboldt Boulevard, and then had to turn people around at 175 and the Cobb Elementary School just to make sure nobody else came back. So many people wanted to come back for their pets, for family members, and I hoped that they could get out the other way, because 175 was compromised with a timber fire by that point, and I didn't want people driving up getting caught in the flames. So that was very difficult. It was emotional, obviously telling people their homes potentially are gone, but now it's about staying alive, and I don't want to see anyone else hurt. And I quickly explained that to probably 30 to 40 different people, one at a time as each vehicle came up. It all seemed surreal in a way, but all the time I had to keep reminding myself of what am I doing that I should not be doing, and what am I doing that I should not be doing to keep my head in the game instead of thinking about those 4 guys that just got burned. So making the decision to evacuate from Clear Lake to Tubbs Lane, it was aggressive, but I felt it needed to be done because if the fire would have shifted just 10, 15 degrees either way, it could have impacted that. So a lot of difficult decisions. I always err on the side of caution and be aggressive, ask for more resources, take the charge. Middletown was like a battle zone with homes burning, propane tanks blowing up, and constantly checking in. We'd get phone calls from people that were trapped. We'd get phone calls from people that didn't know where they were, and we were sending fire engines in to get them. And we kind of had a checklist, write the address down with how many people, and go in there and get as many as we could.
Trapped in their homes? In
their homes, in a field. We got a report of 40 people in a field and 9 people here, and it was just throughout the night, people in their homes and not. We made every effort to get to everybody we could get to, and that went on throughout the night.